What's up, guys? It's DoubleWinning, and I've got some DUNKMASTER Darius up in the top lane. It is the beginning of the new ranked season. I had no idea until I woke up this morning, and I was updating for League, and it was like, ranked season 7 has begun. And I was like, what? I didn't know. It kind of snuck up on me. For some reason, I didn't even realize that it was starting this early, but I played my first placement match, and I was playing top lane, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get some Darius gameplay. I want to put some Darius gameplay up on YouTube. And then they picked Darius, and I was like, oh shoot, I have no idea what I want to play, because a lot of my top lane picks actually don't do that well against Darius. And so I picked Kale, breaking one of my rules, which is like, don't play a random champion, just because like it's almost better to play a champion you are more comfortable. Well, it is better in my opinion to play a champion you're more comfortable with than just playing a counter pick just because you're like, oh, it counters it. So I played Kale and just got dumpstered because the Twitch jungle was like 8-0 by like 10 minutes. It was disgusting, but we even did okay. Like, we were actually defending pretty well, but basically the team morale was pretty much dumpstered. So you can see at this point, I have picked Darius against Nasus, which I actually love this matchup. It basically comes down to becoming such an aggressive lane bully that the Nasus doesn't get to farm, and plus this Nasus isn't going the blue build, where you just push and get farm. He's going like the classic Nasus build, and so I've taken Ghost Teleport here, and sometimes I'll take Flash Teleport or Flash Ignite or Ghost Ignite, but I felt the Ghost would be pretty useful here, just because it allows you to be really aggressive, because if you flash in, sometimes you don't always actually have the damage or the follow-up to actually kill someone. And then I've noticed as Darius, something that really helps when you get flash is if you take the Righteous Glory, because that item is actually really good, and I'm surprised I don't see it more often. I'm sure somebody in the comments below will tell me like why that item is trash or something like that, but I really like it. So I went Corrupting Potion instead of Doran's Blade. I think I probably would have either gone Longsword or Doran's Blade instead of Corrupting Potion if I had to redo this game, just because I was getting so much free aggression on him, and he really wasn't trying to fight back at all. And that could have been because he knew I had the potions, but in the early game, I'm using these potions mostly just for the damage and stuff like that, the little extra magic damage. But you can see I'm playing very, very aggressive. I'm always walking in. I'm always trying to get lots of stacks of my passive, because that passive does so much damage. And I actually took Courage of the Colossus, even though it has been nerfed, which, obviously it needs to be nerfed. And so I'm not really sure if Courage of the Colossus is exactly what I want to take on Darius anymore. It used to just be you take Courage of the Colossus on anyone that had a hard CC that you could use during that every 30 seconds, And so the first gank is the Zac, and he comes up, he gets a little bit of damage, but he doesn't really do all that much. Nasus does not have the follow-up to do anything, especially early game. And really, he's just, an extra target for my Q to heal off of. So that was fine with me, and I've already used all my potions here, but again, it doesn't really matter. I've got plenty of mana, I've got plenty of health, and the Zac comes in again. I'm like, all right, well, I'll just kind of scoot back here. And then I was like, wait a second, I've got 5 stacks, I've got a lot of AD, and so the Nasus flashes away, and then the Zac gets scared, and he flashes away too, and I'm like, all right, I'll call that a win. I traded one Ghost for about a minute and a half of Zac's time, maybe less than that, and then they used both their flashes. So I was like, oh, and then my team was like, oh, get juked. I was like, no, I just wasn't going to keep going. I was good to go there. And so you can see I've got the 25 CS at 5 minutes, so like you can see I'm kind of, well, part of it's just like my CSing is pretty garbage, but I'm spending a little bit extra time making sure the Nasus is getting held back, because you can see he's at like 20 CS right now, and of course he'll equalize that a little bit. I'll have like 30 something CS after this, and he'll have like 25, but that's just kind of the beginning, because he did get 2 ganks right off the bat, and so that helps him out, but a big part of the Darius matchups is more about like crushing your laner as opposed to like carrying with Darius. And so this game though, I actually do a lot of macro play that helps me carry this game. I do a lot of roaming, I do a lot of objective control, and you'll see pretty quick here, Lee Sin's actually coming up to gank, and I told him, I was trying to ping to him like to go in on this when he came on in this minion, and I play this a little bit off here. Like I think Lee Sin could have really just like handled it there, and instead I got a little greedy, and so I ended up trading 1 for 1 there. Of course the wave was pushed, so we're gonna get a little bit of a benefit off that, but I don't think I needed to be there. And you saw before I bought like a Doran's Blade and boots. I was having trouble like deciding what items I wanted to buy, because I had kind of an awkward gold count. And the Lee Sin, playing how he should, comes back. And this time, though, I got the level up. I got the little bit of corrupting potion heal, and I believe I've got dangerous game on this page. I don't remember. I'll have to look back. That's something I didn't really check. But that allowed me to live with less than 100 HP. And then Lee Sin does the correct thing, and he actually stays here with me, and we push this tower down really quick. Now, this is a pretty pivotal point here. Notice how the first dragon is an Infernal Drake. That Infernal Drake is so freaking good. And look at this little teamwork here. I wait for the Lee Sin. Boom, we're going over that bomb plant. And then I'm like, all right, let's get to the next bomb plant. Save a little bit of time. We jump over some walls for free. It's pretty nice. And so 9 minutes in, we've gotten the first tower, and we are already getting the Infernal Drake. I made sure to put my control ward down just in case they try and pull anything sneaky, and are like trying to like jump up on the business. But so that was really, really nice. And I was glad that Lee Sin was kind of on the same page, which a lot of the time, sometimes jugglers aren't on the same page. So I've got my Ghost. I use my Ghost here, and I know Zyra can just kind of root me, but I get the pull off on her. She snares me. I get the Q, the auto, the W, and I almost get her with the dunk. It's so close. The bleed is ticking down. I'm like, no, get her, kill her. And then Lee Sin's just like, eat this little margarita or whatever kind of island mix the Lee Sin pool party likes to throw out for his Sonic Wave. But that was pretty sweet. And then look at this. I'm just continuing with the group objectives here. So we have 4 people on this tower. And I realized pretty quickly that Nasus is pushing top, and we really don't need 4 people here to get that. Like, maybe we get the tower a little bit slower, but instead I would rather get one. I'm going to get like an extra 100 gold from this creep, from the creep wave and experience, and Nasus doesn't get to push as much, and he's not going to get like, a bunch of free XP and waves and stuff like that. Because like I said, with Darius top lane, a big part of it is making sure you can hold down the enemy laner, which is even more important when you're going into like a hyper scaler like Nasus. And so you can see the first item here I'm building toward is the Black Cleaver. Black Cleaver is just so good on Darius, and I wish it wasn't super good on Darius, just because I really love going fun builds like going Triforce Darius, but unfortunately you waste the phase proc if you have Triforce and Black Cleaver. And so normally you just end up going Black Cleaver, and generally you want to go Black Cleaver plus some tank items, but in this game I actually go 2 damage items and then I go tank. And you can see here, I'm just really trying to push a lot of objectives, trying to push a lot of macro play, trying to keep a lot of pressure on the map, and it's working pretty well. And I'm still keeping my farm up decently. It's not really showing right now, but you could see before, like, I even cleared some of the minion like little icons on the map that was earlier when I used the pull on the Krugs. The reason for that is because if there's no Krugs there to be pulled, then it will show on the mini map like there's no Krugs there. And so I'm really just trying to keep the pressure up, trying to look for any opportunity I have to poke the Nasus, because I can't just 100 to 0 the Nasus. Wither is just too strong of a skill. And he's building, he's building full armor. He's got a cloth armor, he's got a Warden's Mail. Obviously, I'm not going to just be able to 100 to 0 him, but if I can do 30% damage, and then he heals up 20% damage, and then I do another 30% and he heals up another 20%. Then I help, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Eventually it puts him to a point where he has to back, like right now, or he stays and puts him into a chance for me to kill him, because Darius does a ton of damage. His Q gets up to like 200 to 400 damage. His ultimate, rank 1 does up to 300 true damage. And then if you have some extra AD, it does a ton more. And right now, he's got 150 armor or so, the Nasus. And then once I get Black Cleaver, I think that shreds 20-25%. So it's gonna be shredding 30 to 40 of that armor, which is pretty great. So you can see here right now, I go back, I get the Black Cleaver, and I head back up top. And I'm just looking for a little bit more damage right now, because I imagine that I'm going to be fighting against this Nasus a lot more, and I really don't feel the need to go tank items right now, because right now I'm just doing quick trades. And look at that. The next dragon is up. I push out my wave because I've already gotten my tower, and I go straight for this dragon, because you have to be super proactive about these dragons and like about the objectives and stuff like that. And I feel like, I don't know if you guys have felt it before, but when and look at that nice little, get out of here, Jinx Rocket. And we didn't even have a smite, it was just, we had control. So I feel like if you're proactive about doing objectives, then your team's a lot more likely to listen to you when you're doing objectives. And I get popped there, and I honestly think if the Vayne would have thrown in an auto attack or two more, they could have maybe picked up another kill, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. I'm gonna run back to lane here, clear this wave super easy because I have Black Cleaver, Doran's Blade, and Serrated Dirk, or whatever the lethality item is. And you can see here, I'm just like, he's trying to steal those from me. I'm like, nah, man, that's mine, you know, because I'm trying to keep my farm up. Because if you're going to be doing a lot of roaming, while I am going back to lane and like clearing waves and stuff like that, if you can get extra CS, get extra gold, like while you're roaming a ton, then it's going to pay off a lot for you, because you're not going to, like, you know, when you're playing an assassin, like it happens to me when I'm playing Fizz, and I notice 30 minutes in game, I have like 120 CS. So like I have like 8 kills, but the gold really adds up if you're making sure to clear some objectives while you're doing the roaming. And so right here, Zach ganks me again, and he tries to outplay me here, and I'm like, thanks, bro, for the bomb away. You know, I feel like a lot of people don't really quite get how to play around the bombs quite yet. And so Zach comes in, fires off the fires off his skill set and his ult and stuff like that, and doesn't quite kill any of us, which is sweet, because in a alternate universe where that Zach was a much better player and he had gotten fed, he could have just killed all of us there. And look at that. I don't just default to going back and like just brainlessly thinking. I was like, oh, bot tower's really low. Vayne and I can push this tower really easily. Let's go get it. So we get the tower, we push the wave, and then I back, and I've got like 2,000 gold to spend. So I get myself a Yumu's Ghostblade, because one, movement speed is super nice on Darius, and that was a call by Lee that could have paid off if we were able to maybe get it right before. And then I pull the Lux in here because I was like, all right, let's see if we can kill her before she steals it. And she hits me with the final spark, and the Zach hits me with, you know, the edge of his little elastic rubber band fist thing, and I die. And so I'm 1-3-2 right now, but I'm about to change that right here. I tell my team I'm coming in hot. I don't have Ghost, but I've got Yumu's Ghostblade. They're low. I've got my ult up. I'm about to drop some dunks on these guys with this super. This is one of the most fun things in the game to do, is get that nice flank in, right? So the Nasus is low, so I'm just gonna hit him with 2 things. Hit him with the dunk, pull the Jinx in, start hitting the Jinx, hit her with the Q. I was gonna dunk her, but she just died from the Q, and then I get a nice W off on the Zyra, which, since I've already dunked the Nasus, my AD is super boosted, you know. And so that was a super nice play, and you can see if you look back, like my AD was probably like over 300 or something like that. I didn't quite catch it, but so that flank was really nice. You know, it brought my KDA a little bit higher, which you're going to see in this game, though. Like, my KDA really isn't that high. I'm pretty sure I have a negative KDA, and you guys can just ignore this little dumb chase that I go through with Zach. I, like, ghost and use Yumu's, and I'm like, oh, I'm never going to catch this guy. This little blob is the fastest blob in the world, even though I'm using, like, bomb plants and everything. But you can see the way I play this game, this definitely was a game won by macro, because while we're keeping competitive in our kills and we're keeping pretty close in our CS and stuff like that, you know, we've also gotten 2 dragons, we've gotten a Baron, we almost got the Rift Herald, we got the first tower, we've been getting lots of outer towers, and I've been making a lot of rotations. Like right here, I'm like, oh, this tower's pretty low, let me go in here, and then I'm like, okay, well they're gonna kill me here. Like, let me get a little bit of healing off them. I'm already taking tower aggro, and then the tower lives with like 65 HP, but you can still get a general idea of what I'm going for. So I'm just trying to push a lot, and you can see with my item builds, I'm trying to build that ZZ Rot, which sometimes I disagree with the ZZ Rot on Darius, but like the more I build it, I honestly feel like if you take advantage of the ZZ Rot on Darius, it is just such a great item, because it allows you to kind of get those nice pushes in, and it allows you to apply pressure to a lane, because sometimes Darius falls into that category where he just kind of becomes irrelevant, because like he can't push on towers very easily because he's being kited. The wave can be cleared really easily. But since I'm working toward the ZZ Rot, I've got a lot of pressure because I've been CSing a ton. I'm pretty tanky. I've got a lot of damage. And also that ultimate just killed Nasus, like overkilled him by only 10. So like he had like 810 HP. I did like 820 true damage. It was beautiful. And my team plays it super well. Because I told them I was going to split push, they sent 2 top, so they pushed on the tower and they ended up getting the inhibitor. So that's the kind of like, those are the kind of teams I love seeing. And so you can see here, I've got the ZZ Rot in mid lane. I've got the push going. The ZZ Rot and me applying pressure allows us to push pretty easily. I don't really care that they're going to kill my ZZ Rot, because we got another Infernal Drake. Again, Infernal Drakes are so good, and if you can stack Infernal Drakes, so like right now we have 2, that's just going to make your team so strong, especially like on a more selfish thing. If you're playing someone like Darius, who at most can only really build 2 damage items, having that extra 20, I think it's like 20, maybe it's 16%, 24%, I don't remember exactly. Having that free damage allows you to not really fall off because of the fact that you're building tanky. And right there, I kind of ignored the team fight because I was like, I'm going to just stick with my game plan, and I'm just going to keep pushing. And I tried to dodge the Lux Q. I didn't dodge the Lux Q. I tried to get the heal off, and really I'm just kind of stalling for time there because the minions were pushing bot, and maybe they get like 30 extra damage on the tower or something like that. But I knew I was going to die there, and if I didn't dodge that Lux Q, which I didn't dodge the Lux Q. So I've got a ZZ Rot, I've got a Yumu's Ghost Blade, I've got the Black Cleaver, Merc Treads, Doran's Blade, and the Giant's Belt. As you can see, I am building toward the tank items now, which ZZ Rot provides you with a little bit of tank items. It's pretty equivalent to the Guardian Angel without the Guardian Angel passive. It gives you a little bit of armor, a little bit of MR, which is pretty nice because I think I have like 2,700 HP. So it puts me at about 150 for armor and MR. And so right here, I realized that we have killed enough of them. Right there, I was like trying to set up this big elaborate plan. I was like, all right, so we can push and we can do Baron and stuff like that. And then Lee got a sweet catch out, and then I was like, all right, well, I guess we can just go ahead and end the game. So that's the end of the game. It's my second placement game. I'm going to play a couple more of my placement games and hopefully get them up on YouTube or maybe stream some of them. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like or a comment. If you have anything to say about the video, how your placement games been going, I'd love to know. And as always, guys, stay classy and keep winning.